My name is Laura Wogozogan and I am your instructor for this semester. And this is going to be a short video that goes over our syllabus, but make sure to read through it on your own and reach out if you have any questions. So at the top, I want you to notice that our course has actually changed names over the past, this is our first semester, so over the past few years it's been called something else. And so before it was called Math 110, and now it's called Stat C1000. So these are identical, they are exactly the same course. If you have any questions in terms of transferability, definitely reach out to your counselor. But you'll notice sometimes things are going to be called Math 110 and other things are going to be called Stat C1000. So it is in that transition period. There is 2 sections that we have, along with my office number and my email address are all listed on here, as well as our office hours. Office hours are a time for you to stop by. I am in my office or on Zoom during these set periods of time. You can also email me, but we'll go through that in a little bit. But they are listed on here when I am on campus and then also when we're on Zoom. So course description, this is an online course with an emphasis placed on understanding of statistical methods. There is a textbook down here. This is not required. It says it is recommended but is not required. But what is required for our class is going to be Canvas, which we should all have access to, along with a scanning app or a scanner. And for myself, I use Adobe Scan. This is a free app, and I know a lot of the phones now currently have scanning apps that are already embedded on them. And then we also need, the big expense here is going to be a graphing calculator, but there are cheaper resources such as an app. TI-8384 graphing calculator will be used in class and is preferred and highly recommended. You also need printed or downloaded class notes, but I will also leave some copies out in front of my office that you can stop by and grab at any time. You don't have to worry about during office hours or anything. They'll be out there all the time. And then you also need paper and pencil to write with. The prereq is listed here. Student learning outcomes and course measurable objectives, definitely read through on your own time. On the next page, it does talk about homework. And so this is the first big part of your grade. So you are responsible for your own learning. So you want to make sure that you spend time on the homework. It will be open for a week, and that's where you need to dedicate time to making sure that you have an understanding of the material. So it will be signed weekly, and it's going to be assigned through MyOpenMath and also through worksheets. And so it says that the online program, which is MyOpenMath, is a free program which is embedded into Canvas. So you actually will select homework 1 and it will open up right for you through Canvas. All homework assignments are due by 11:59 on Thursdays for each week unless otherwise stated. The assignments are going to be listed on our schedule, which is on the very last page of our syllabus, so we'll look at that momentarily. So no late assignments. Online homework problems can be attempted an infinite amount of time, and you can reattempt each problem until you get it correct, so you should get 100% on your homework. If you're stuck on anything, there is a helpful hint button there, and it will pull up either like a helpful video or maybe links you to a different textbook so you can kind of read about it. And so we have that for our online homework. And for written homework, work should be done clearly and completed by hand. So you need to make sure that you're doing this by handwriting, no typing any answers. And you upload in Canvas as a single PDF file. So make sure to complete homework assignments using the same methods and wording as discussed in our class notes and textbooks. If you have any trouble with homework and you need to get extra help, you talk to other classmates. You can also stop by during office hours, or a big one is going to be our free tutoring centers that we have on campus, and one of them is the Marks, and we'll talk about that more below. The next big thing in your grade is going to be lecture video and notes. So each chapter has at least 1 lecture video that must be watched. Most of them have 2. While watching the lecture videos, make sure to fully complete by hand and not typed all chapter notes and examples. So you can pick up the notes or you can download them off of Canvas or print them on your own off of Canvas, but those are going to have some blanks that you're going to be filling in as you're watching those lecture videos. So it's just as if you were sitting in class. says you may complete notes on a tablet, your printed lecture notes, or if you want to, you can write out all the typed parts that I've already done for you on lined paper. Make sure that all notes, including graphs and tables, must be completed by hand in order to receive credit. Lecture videos need to be watched in their entirety through the Canvas link for credit. Throughout the lecture video, you will be asked questions to check for your understanding of the material. The last question is going to ask, did you watch the entire lecture video? Make sure to select yes so that you obtain the 5 points that you get for watching each lecture video. So you do need to watch that entire lecture video all the way through and making sure that you answer that last question with a yes. The other questions are just checking for understanding and they're not any part of your grade. The pre-recorded lecture videos are worth 5 points each, so the lecture videos need to be completely watched by Tuesdays at 11:59 p.m. unless otherwise stated. Completed chapter notes will need to be scanned in and uploaded as a single PDF file by Wednesdays at 11:59 p.m. for each week. Each completed chapter notes are worth 15 points and must be completed by hand and not typed. The lecture videos and completed chapter notes counts for 5% of your grade, and you can also re-watch the lecture videos. So if you wanted to watch them again, sometimes students like to watch them before an exam, but there is a YouTube link, and this is in our first, if you go to Canvas, our first module. So if you select modules, and it's called Course Orientation Start Here Canvas module, and you'll see the YouTube link there. The next big part of our grade is going to be discussions. So there's going to be one weekly discussion post. Discussions will require you to post and about the topic, and you're also going to have to respond to at least one classmates. Directions, grading, and expectations are posted for each discussion topic. Discussions, both the post and the response, are due by Wednesday at 11:59 for each week. Make sure to not only complete your post, but also to respond to at least one classmate's post before that due date. Next big part of our grade is going to be quizzes. And these are going to be individual MyOpenMath chapter quizzes. And again, MyOpenMath was that free online program. Timed quizzes, so they are timed. Definitely something to keep in mind. There will be a countdown clock going that tells you how much time you have remaining. Some students find it beneficial to have a post-it note to cover that up if it bothers you. But timed quizzes will cover recent material covered in class in the homework. Quiz problems may be attempted only once. So versus homework, where homework can be taken an infinite amount of time. And this will make for up 5% of your grade. Quizzes will open on Tuesdays at 8:30 a.m. and will be due by Friday at 11:59 p.m. unless otherwise stated. Failure to complete a quiz by the due date will result in a 0 for the quiz. So this is open for quite a long period of time. So make sure you put this into your schedule so that way you do not forget to take your quiz. The quizzes are going to also be separated by chapters. So chapter 1 quiz, chapter 2 quiz, and so forth. The next big part of our grade is going to be our projects. And there's going to be 4 individual computer projects assigned during the semester. Projects will use StatDisk, and StatDisk is a free statistical computer program. Projects are going to be due by 11:59 on the dates that are listed on our course schedule, which again is our last page. Projects need to be uploaded as a single PDF file, and details will follow on separate handouts and videos. So projects count for 25% of your grade. The next big part is exams and final exams. So this is a college level course, and so the majority of your grade will be based upon exams and final exams. So we have 3 exams that are given on the weeks that are listed on our course schedule. So we'll take a look at that momentarily. Things might change, but usually they're pretty solidified. Exams will have part on MyOpenMath, and another part will be handwritten, and you'll be uploading it as a PDF file. All work on exams needs to be completely done using the same vocab and approach as discussed in class. And from our notes in our textbook, it says additional information will be provided prior to the exams. Exams will count for 30% of your grade for the course. And it says exams will be open for a 36-hour window from Thursdays at 8 a.m. till Friday at 8 p.m. and must be taken during this time. So this is really key. So you have a 36-hour window where the exams will be open and you need to dedicate time to finishing the exam within there. Each part is usually about an hour given. So you'll have 2 hours that you definitely need to be dedicating during that 36-hour window. So make sure you set your schedules to accommodate that. And then we also have a cumulative final exam, so it's going to cover all 12 chapters, which is also going to be open for a 36-hour window, but for this one it's going to be Tuesday, December 9th at 8 a.m. until Wednesday, December 10th at 8 p.m. And more information about the final exam will be talked about during week 15. And the final exam is worth 20% of your grade. And then if you have any special test taking needs, make sure to talk to me outside of class and as early as you can, so that way we can make sure those accommodations are met. Okay, we have a grading distribution here that goes over all the percents of your grade. Again, remember that exams and final are making up the largest percentage of your grade. You do need to earn a C or higher in order to pass this course. A D and an F does not get you credit for this course and will require you to retake the class again. Right below this, we have what's called our Math Activity Resource Center, or the MARCS. This is a free online and on-campus tutoring center that we have. The hours are listed here. And you can also, there are links on here for signing up for the MARCS, and it's located in Building 61, which is also where my office is located, and it's an amazing resource to have and get some extra help. They also have a computer lab there, so when you're working on your computer projects, you can get some extra help. We also have an absence and drop policy, which is a little different for students since this is an online class. Since our class meets asynchronously, one absence is counted as not completely watching one lecture video, completing one discussion, or uploading your completed chapter notes. It is your responsibility to take note of how many absences you have. If you have more than 4 absences, you'll be dropped from the course automatically, so make sure to keep track of these absences. In addition, you'll be dropped if you fail to take any exam without talking to the instructor before the exam start time. So if there's any issues, reach out, but you should all be setting up time to take those exams during that 36-hour window. Makeup lectures are not given, however, lecture videos can be rewatched. And again, there is a YouTube link that is in our modules, the first folder that's on there, which is called Course Orientation Start Here Canvas module. And if you decide to drop the class, there's a few key dates here. So the last day to drop without a W is 9/7. Last day to drop with a W is on Halloween, so 10/31. Canvas resources on here. There is some information on if you have any issues with Canvas. There's a phone number to call, and there's also help on Canvas website. Instructor contact. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I put my email address again on here. It is also listed at the top. You can also use Canvas Inbox. Expect up to a 24-hour response time Monday through Thursday, and expect up to a 48-hour response time Friday through Sunday. I usually get back to students quicker, but definitely be aware of this. Comments left on assignments will not be read, so make sure to email the professor using Canvas Inbox if you have any questions or concerns. So again, leaving a comment on an assignment isn't something that I'm going to notice, so make sure that if you have a question or concern about an assignment, make sure you send me an email or use Canvas Inbox. Grading of assignments will be given within a week, so definitely something to be aware of from the due date of the assignment. For Zoom office hours, you can use the link that's either in our Course Orientation Start Here Canvas module or on the home page, or the meeting ID and password are both given here. Calculators, there is some recommendations for us. I will be using a TI-8384 graphing calculator. The app that is suggested to use to download is GraphingCalc 83. So the calculators run about $100 at least each, And then the Graph and Calc app, it depends on what device you're using, but usually you can download it for $10 or less. There's also some more suggestions on here, and if you have any questions with anything, please reach out. Student honesty, pretty much the majority of this is just don't cheat, don't steal, don't lie. And then we have our academic honesty policy. Academic honesty is taken very serious in this course, especially since we are an asynchronous class. And so the class will use an AI detecting program and for anything that you submit. So make sure that you're doing your own work. And I want to remind you that you are to be completing quizzes and projects and discussions and exams on your own without the aid of any computer apps, web pages, programs, or AI. Exams and quizzes are also individual assessments, so you should not be talking with other people while you're taking those. So definitely something to be aware of and know that this is taken very serious in this course. And if you have questions, please reach out. Student conduct is making sure that you are being appropriate and kind, not just to me, but to your classmates. Email etiquette, make sure to tell me what class that you're in. I do have multiple sections of statistics this semester along with honors statistics. And so go ahead and tell me what course you're in. The CRN is what you would definitely want to know. When asking a homework question, only include one problem per email. Make sure to list the homework problem and the section. If the problem's coming from MyOpenMath, make sure to attach a screenshot of the problem. This is very helpful because MyOpenMath, the problems are going to be unique for you. And so this way I can see exactly the same problem that you were given. And you can also attach your work and explain where you got lost or where you weren't able to continue on. And so with the MyOpenMath, taking just a picture of it, and then you can send that on. Again, if you have 5 questions, you should be sending 5 separate emails. And then accommodations for any disabilities. Here's all the access information. If you have accommodations, please make sure you let me know about them as early as you can in the semester so that way I can get those accommodations met. And then on the very last page, we have our course schedule. And so this is what we're going to be following for every week, and you'll notice the weeks are almost identical. So for week 1, we will be covering chapter 1 material, so that's the lecture videos that you need to watch. And then you'll notice we have homework 1, quiz 1, and discussion number 1. And you'll notice it's almost identical for week 2. The only difference is that with week 2, we do introduce our first project, and you'll notice that the campus is closed on the 1st. And then you'll notice if you scroll down a little bit more that we have exams listed. And with the exam, this is open again Thursday through Friday, Thursday at 8 a.m. through Friday at 8 p.m. for that 36-hour window. And then it also tells us when our projects are due, so make sure you make note of that. You will also notice that your homework here is listed as a worksheet, which is a little bit different from all the other ones, since the ones that don't have the word worksheet there, like homework 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are going to be through MyOpenMath. And so if you scroll down, you'll see that we have exactly the same thing listed for every single week. You'll notice the other projects on here, exams, and project due dates. So you want to make sure you make note of when those exams are so you can set your time to making sure that you can take those and have a quiet location to take them. And then also our final exam is listed on here. If you have any questions about our statistics class, please email me and ask. Again, my email is listed up here at the top, or you can use Canvas inbox. I'm looking forward to a successful semester